morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever time of day it is for you while you're watching this presentation. My name is Emily Johnston, and this is my presentation on exercise and the environment, primarily focusing on altitude. This presentation was created with Microsoft Copilot AI and Google Slides. So let's hop right into it. So just for a little bit of an introduction and an overview, imagine you're climbing a mountain. You're reaching new heights and feeling the thrill of the thin air. But what happens to your body when you exercise at these altitudes? Let's find out. Before we dive in, here's a quick AI-written and incredibly dumb, or a few quick AI-written and incredibly dumb jokes to get us started. Why did the mountain climber bring a ladder? Because they heard the view was better from the very top. And why did the mountain climber take a nap at the summit? Because they wanted to reach new heights in their dreams. So now let's set the stage. High altitudes are typically defined as elevations that are about 2,500 meters or 8,200 feet above sea level. At these heights, the air pressure is lower, which means there's less oxygen available for your body. This can have significant effects on your physical performance and overall health. So as altitude increases, if I don't lose my slide, atmospheric pressure decreases, which has a significant impact on the availability of oxygen. At sea level, the atmospheric pressure is approximately 760 mmHg, allowing for optimal oxygen intake. However, as you ascend to higher altitudes, the atmospheric pressure decreases to around 560 mmHg, and this reduction in pressure means that there are fewer oxygen molecules available in each breath, leading to a condition known as hypoxia. So far understanding the effects of altitude is crucial for us to understand optimizing exercise performance and improving our overall health. So let's look more into the physiological background and quick summary. First, let's talk about hypoxia. Hypoxia is the reduced availability of oxygen at high altitudes. It's like trying to breathe through a straw while you're running a marathon. Incredibly difficult. Your body responds by increasing erythropoiesis, which is the production of red blood cells. More red blood cells means more oxygen transport capacity. So it's like upgrading your car's engine for better performance. Hypoxia can cause symptoms such as shortness of breath, dizziness, and fatigue as the body struggles to obtain sufficient oxygen to meet its metabolic needs. Key physiological adaptations include increased hemoglobin mass, ventilatory acclimatization, and improved efficiency of oxygen utilization. However, there are some challenges too. At high altitudes, your cardiac output decreases and blood flow to muscles is reduced. It's like your body is working harder but still getting less fuel. So here's a fun fact. Did you know that the Sherpas, or the indigenous people living in the Himalayas, have naturally adapted to high altitudes over generations? They have higher hemoglobin levels and more efficient oxygen utilization. Talk about natural-born climbers. Let's dive deeper into these adaptations. First, increased hemoglobin mass. This allows for greater oxygen carrying capacity in the blood. Think of it as adding more seats to a bus so that it's able to carry more passengers. And ventilatory acclimatization. Your body increases its breathing rate to take in more oxygen, so it's like turning up air conditioning on a hot day to cool down even faster. And improved efficiency of oxygen utilization. Your muscles become more efficient at using the available oxygen. So it's like upgrading your phone's battery to last even longer on just one single charge. So now let's look a little bit into the decreased cardiac output and blood flow to muscles. It's not all smooth sailing. At high altitudes, your body faces several different challenges. First, decreased cardiac output. Your heart pumps less blood per minute, which can reduce your exercise capacity. Reduced blood flow to muscles. This can lead to quicker fatigue and decreased performance. And potential immune function, depression, and oxidative stress. Your body may become more susceptible to infections and oxidative damage. So, what about low altitudes? So training at low altitudes, typically at or near sea level, provides athletes with optimal oxygen availability, which can enhance their overall performance and recovery. At low altitudes, the atmospheric pressure is higher, which allows for greater oxygen intake with each breath. This increased oxygen availability supports efficient aerobic metabolism, enabling athletes to sustain high-intensity exercise for longer periods. Additionally, the body's ability to recover quickly from strenuous workouts is improved due to the ample oxygen supply, which aids in muscle repair and reduces fatigue. Low-altitude training can be particularly beneficial for activities that require sustained endurance and high energy output, such as marathon running, swimming, and cycling. So now time for another silly joke. Why don't athletes at high altitudes ever get tired? Well, it's because they're always on a high. So now if we continue on to the general principles of exercise and the environment, Exercise is universally recognized for its numerous health benefits, including reducing mortality rates, enhancing cardiovascular health, improving mental well-being, and boosting overall quality of life. Regular physical activity helps in maintaining a healthy weight, reducing the risk of chronic diseases such as diabetes and hypertension, and promoting longevity. However, the environment in which exercise is performed plays a crucial role in determining its effectiveness, as in how much it's really going to make a change, and overall safety on if a person should be performing such activities. Environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, and altitude significantly increase exercise performance and physiological responses. For instance, if you're exercising on a hot summer day, it can lead to increased body temperature and consequently more sweating, which may result in dehydration and heat-related illness if proper precautions are not taken. The body works harder to dissipate heat, which can reduce endurance and overall increase your fatigue. Conversely, exercising in cold conditions can cause muscles to stiffen, which increases the risk of injury and probably will reduce your overall performance. Humidity levels also impact exercise. High humidity can make it difficult for sweat to evaporate, which impairs the body's ability to cool down and leads to overheating. On the other hand, low humidity can cause rapid dehydration as sweat evaporates quickly, necessitating increased fluid intake to maintain hydration. Altitude presents a unique set of challenges due to the reduced atmospheric pressure and lower oxygen availability. At higher altitudes, the body must adapt to hypoxia, which can affect endurance and overall performance. These environmental stressors require specific adaptations and strategies to ensure safe and effective exercise. To address these challenges, a conceptual framework for environmental interventions can be employed. This framework involves making structural changes to the exercise environment to optimize physical activity. So, for example, redesigning a gym to include more windows for natural light would enhance the workout experience and improve mood for many gym members. Creating outdoor exercise spaces can provide fresh air and a change of scenery, making exercise overall more enjoyable and perhaps more motivating. Other interventions might include installing climate control systems to regulate temperature and humidity, ensuring proper ventilation, and providing shaded areas for outdoor activities. These changes can help mitigate the adverse effects of environmental factors and create a more conducive environment for exercise. In summary, while exercise is inherently beneficial, the environment in which it performs plays a pivotal role in its effectiveness and overall safety. By understanding and addressing the impact of temperature, humidity, and altitude, we can create optimal conditions for physical activity, enhancing its benefits and ensuring a positive experience for all. So let's break down these environmental factors a little further. Temperature. Exercising in extreme heat or cold can affect your performance and safety. In hot conditions, your body has to work harder to cool you down, which can lead to dehydration and heat-related illnesses. In cold conditions, again, your muscles may become stiff and you may be at a risk for hypothermia. Humidity. High humidity can make it harder for your body to cool down through sweating, leading to increased risk of heat exhaustion. On the other hand, low humidity can cause dehydration as your sweat evaporates so quickly. Altitude, as we've discussed, high altitudes mean lower oxygen availability, which can affect your endurance and overall performance. Continuing on, structural changes in the exercise environment can significantly impact physical activity, especially when considering altitude and other environmental factors. At high altitudes where oxygen availability is reduced, creating an environment that supports acclimatization is crucial. For instance, gyms and training facilities at high altitudes can be designed with enhanced ventilation systems to ensure adequate airflow and oxygen supply. Additionally, incorporating altitude simulation chambers can allow athletes to train in a controlled hypoxic condition, helping them to adapt to the lower oxygen levels that they will encounter during outdoor activities. These structural modifications can improve the safety and effectiveness of altitude training, enabling athletes to optimize their performance and reduce the risk of altitude-related illnesses. Beyond altitude, other environmental factors such as temperature and humidity also play a role in physical activity. Structural changes like climate control systems can regulate indoor temperatures, preventing overheating or excessive cooling during workouts. For outdoor exercise spaces, providing shaded areas and hydration stations can help mitigate the effects of high temperatures and humidity, ensuring that participants remain comfortable and hydrated. Furthermore, designing exercise environments with natural elements such as greenery and water features can enhance the overall experience, making physical activity more enjoyable and oftentimes more motivating. These interventions not only will improve the physical conditions for exercise, but will also contribute to mental well-being, encouraging consistent and sustained physical activity. So from this section, let the key takeaway be that environmental factors like humidity Temperature and altitude will significantly impact the exercise performance and overall safety of performing exercises. So now time for another joke, just to keep things light. Why did the runner bring a barometer to the altitude training camp? To measure their peak performance. So continuing on to current research, let's look at some altitude training models. Diving into the current research, there are different altitude training models like Live High, Train Low, LHTL, and Live High, Train High, LHTH. Recent findings show that altitude training can enhance endurance performance and overall aerobic capacity. Imagine training at high altitudes and then competing at sea level. You're going to feel like a superhero. Contemporary applications include using altitude training in elite sports and health outcomes. Athletes use these techniques to gain a competitive edge, and even non-athletes can benefit from improved health. For instance, altitude training can help improve cardiovascular health and increase overall fitness levels for pretty much anyone. So let's look at some specific studies. Recent research has provided valuable insights into the benefits and challenges of altitude training. One systematic review examined the physiological benefits of altitude training on endurance athletes, highlighting key adaptations such as increased hemoglobin mass and improved oxygen transport capacity. These adaptations enhance aerobic performance, allowing athletes to sustain higher levels of physical activity even in hypoxic conditions. The review also emphasized the importance of ventilatory acclimatization, where the body increases its breathing rate to compensate for reduced oxygen availability, ultimately improving overall endurance. Another study conducted used a meta-analysis on the impact of altitude training on blood biomarkers and aerobic capacity. The findings revealed that altitude training significantly boosts red blood cell production, leading to better oxygen delivery to muscles. This increase in oxygen transport capacity translates to enhanced endurance and performance, particularly in the endurance sports such as running, swimming, and cycling. Additionally, the meta-analysis highlighted the effectiveness of different altitude training models, such as the LHTL and LHTH, in optimizing athletic performance. These models allow athletes to reap the benefits of altitude exposure while minimizing the risks associated with prolonged hypoxia. Overall, the studies underscore the potential of altitude training to improve athletic performance and health outcomes. By understanding and leveraging the physiological adaptations that occur at high altitudes, athletes can enhance their endurance, optimize their training protocols, and achieve peak performance. These findings can also have practical applications for non-athletes, such as mountaineers and fitness enthusiasts, who can benefit from pre-acclimatization techniques and structured altitude training programs. Altitude training has become a cornerstone in elite sports, offering a competitive edge by enhancing their endurance and performance. By training at high altitudes, athletes experience hypoxia, which stimulates physiological adaptations such as increased red blood cell production and improved oxygen transport capacity. These adaptations are crucial for endurance sports like long-distance running, cycling, and swimming, where oxygen efficiency directly impacts performance. Elite athletes often use altitude training camps to prepare for major competitions, leveraging the benefits of hypoxic conditions to optimize their physical capabilities. Beyond sports performance, altitude training also has positive health outcomes. It can improve cardiovascular health, boost metabolic efficiency, and enhance overall fitness. These benefits extend to non-athletes as well, providing a valuable tool for improving health and managing chronic conditions. By incorporating altitude training into their routines, both elite athletes and fitness enthusiasts can achieve significant improvements into their physical health and performance. Time for another joke to keep us all entertained. What do you call a study about altitude training that's full of errors? A mountain of mistakes. So far, our key takeaway for current research is that it supports the benefits of altitude training for enhancing endurance and improving aerobic capacity. So now let's look at some practical applications on implementing altitude trainings. Implementing altitude training involves strategies like the LHTL and LHTH models. Pre-acclimatization techniques can help mountaineers prepare for high-altitude treks. It's like getting a head start before the big climb. So considerations for different populations include athletes, mountaineers, and patients. Each group has unique needs and challenges. Recommendations include optimizing training protocols to account for individual variability. And for example, athletes might focus on interval training at high altitudes, while mountaineers might use gradual acclimatization techniques. So let's explore some more practical tips. For athletes, incorporate altitude training into your routine by spending time at high altitudes and training at lower altitudes. This can help improve your endurance and overall performance. For mountaineers, use pre-acclimatization techniques such as spending time at intermediate altitudes before attempting a high altitude climb. This can help reduce the risk of altitude sickness. For patients, consult with a healthcare professional before attempting altitude training, especially if you have any pre-existing health conditions. Gradual acclimatization and monitoring your body's response are key. Additionally, patients with chronic conditions like diabetes can use altitude training under medical supervision to improve cardiovascular health and overall fitness. The physiological adaptations that occur during altitude training, such as increased red blood cell production and enhanced oxygen delivery, can be beneficial for managing these conditions and promoting better health outcomes. The practitioners who are likely to use this information include coaches, physicians, and nutritionists. Coaches play a crucial role in designing and implementing altitude training programs for athletes, ensuring that the training protocols are optimized for performance enhancement while minimizing risks. Physicians, particularly those specializing in sports medicine or endocrinology, can provide medical supervision and guidance for patients with any chronic conditions and ensure that altitude training is safe and effective. Nutritionists even can offer dietary recommendations to support the physiological adaptations to altitude training, such as increasing iron intake to boost the red blood cell production within the body. Together, these practitioners collaborate to create comprehensive altitude training programs tailored to the needs of individuals, maximizing the benefits and ensuring safety. Which brings us to our last part of practical applications, individual variability, which plays a crucial role in the effectiveness of altitude training, as each person's physiological response to hypoxia can differ significantly. Factors such as age, fitness level, genetic predisposition, and pre-existing health conditions can influence how well someone adapts to high-altitude environments. For instance, younger athletes may acclimatize more quickly than older individuals, while those with higher baseline fitness levels might experience more pronounced benefits from altitude training. To optimize training protocols, it's essential to tailor programs to the specific needs and characteristics of each individual. This can involve adjusting to the duration and intensity of altitude exposure, incorporating personalized acclimatization strategies, and closely monitoring physiological markers such as heart rate, oxygen saturation, and red blood cell count. By recognizing and addressing individual variability, practitioners can design altitude training programs that maximize benefits, minimize risks, and ensure that each participant achieves their full potential. And time for another joke. Why did the athlete refuse to train at high altitude? They said it was too much of an uphill struggle. So for our key takeaway on this section is that practical applications of altitude training can vary greatly for athletes, mountaineers, patients, or anyone with chronic existing medical conditions. So they need different strategies that'll be tailored to their personal and individual health needs. So now let's look at some real life applications. Many elite athletes use altitude training to gain a competitive edge. For example, Kenyan long-distance runners often train at higher altitudes in their home country, which helps them to dominate when they're going international for competitions. Another example is the use of altitude training in military training programs. Soldiers are often required to operate in high-altitude environments, and altitude training helps them acclimatize and perform better under these conditions. Case studies also show the benefits of altitude training for recreational athletes and fitness enthusiasts. For example, a study on amateur cyclists found that altitude training improved their performance and ultimately their endurance. And time for another joke. Why did the altitude training camp get so many visitors? Because it was a high point of their fitness journey. And so the key takeaway for real life applications are that these case studies demonstrate the effectiveness of altitude training for various populations. Each of these groups are a little bit different on their specific needs, what they're doing, and still see the benefits of altitude training. So to recap, understanding the effects of altitude on exercise is crucial for optimizing performance and health. Whether you're an athlete, a mountaineer, someone looking to improve their fitness, or someone just hoping to survive a family hike, altitude training can offer significant benefits. Remember, training at altitude is like climbing a mountain, literally. It's all about reaching new heights one step at a time. Altitude training offers significant benefits for optimizing exercise performance and improving one's overall health. So here are my references. And lastly, as we head into the quiz, one final joke. Why did the quiz about altitude training get an A+? Because it was on top of everything. So here I have a link listed for my Kahoot, which I'll also share in the discussion board to help you recall what you've learned from this presentation. So feel free to click on that link and test out your knowledge. But thank you for watching.